Hello and welcome back to another episode of GameStack Podcast right here on We Just Love Games Network. I am your co-host Vendertron, and joining me this week, as always, is the lovely Shalene. Hello, Shalene. How are you?
Hello.
You're
Doing
looking,
okay.
you're looking crisp.
Thank you. That's all due to my new Poly Studio P5 webcam,
Whoa,
which was
fancy.
gifted to me because I'm an influencer.
Because you're
So,
a media
yes.
influencer.
Yes.
Wow.
It's very spiffy, actually. I'm really impressed with the quality of this camera.
Yeah, it looks
So,
great. You look.
yeah.
I mean, you look great on any camera, but this one
Yes.
is just like extra good.
It is definitely an upgrade from the 8-year-old camera I had been using. Yes, big fan of the Poly Studio P5. So,
Excellent. So, how have you been?
vendor, it has been a week.
Are we moving into our new show segment? It's been a week. What happened?
It's been a week. Like my job is always a challenge. It's always a difficult job. But there have been additional things going on
Oh,
that
really?
have made it extra challenging. One of the things is that we are switching to a new accounting system,
Oh, no.
and it's been a months long journey, this transition to the new accounting system. And this week we ran the first payroll
Oh,
in the new
no.
accounting system. It was the first thing we did live in the new accounting system, and it had to be payroll. Of course, payroll is already kind of a complex thing to do. And I was having panic attacks over this payroll already, just because I was so worried it wasn't going to work. And then this morning, one of my employees comes in. He's like, "Hey, Shalene, I I'm not mad, but I didn't get paid this morning, and I need you to fix it."
Right? Oh,
And I
no.
was like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what went wrong." So I spent the first 2 hours of my workday combing through everything, trying to figure out why this guy's direct deposit didn't go through. And I called him in and I was like, "Okay, I need you to show me if you can, because I can't find anything
Right.
indicating, can you maybe pull up your bank for me and show me the number from your bank account, and
Uh-huh.
maybe."
Uh-huh.
And so he pulls up his bank account, and you know what's there? His direct deposit.
So it was there. He just
It
didn't
was there.
see it.
It was there. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm not mad, but I need you to leave my office." Just spent 3 hours having a panic attack, and I'm
Oh
gonna
my
have to
god.
ask you to leave.
Oh my god. I bet you he's one of those people that looks in the refrigerator for the ketchup bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's right there in front of him,
Yeah.
and there's no
He's
ketchup in the fridge.
he says that he checked and it wasn't there first thing this morning. So maybe the bank just posted it a little later than they usually do.
Sometimes the apps and
Yeah.
things are often behind.
So
Yeah.
he may have just had his bank posted it later than usual, and when he checked, it wasn't there, and then later it was there. And the people don't care about one of my employees' direct deposits. We should move on.
Well, no, I'm always I haven't talked to you all week. Actually, I haven't
Oh
talked to
my
you for 2
gosh.
weeks cuz last weekend I was in Calgary. So,
Yeah, I was planning to do a little Fallout stream with Archin, because the new Fallout, the pit content
yeah,
has
yeah.
launched, but I fell
Oops.
asleep and I slept
Of course
through
you did.
the time period in which
Of
I was
course.
planning to stream. So yeah, that didn't happen. But I've been
Okay.
really tired. I've been very stressed. I'm barely clinging to my own sanity right now.
Okay. Well, all right. Um well, welcome to all of you lovely listeners who are coming into the live chat. Happy Friday to you. Welcome to the best little corner of the internet on a Friday evening. If you are listening to the show after the fact and we've posted the recording, we also love all of you wonderful listeners who like to listen while you're driving or on your daily commute or cleaning the house or at work or working out, whatever. Thank you for your continued support. Tonight's show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and every bag, $2 from every single purchased bag of We Just Love Coffee blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget, October 3rd is the last day to host the show if you're listening live. So if you are listening live right now, host us on Twitch. Go over to your own chat and your own Twitch channel, type /host space We Just Love Games, and you will be able to host and spread our show with the rest of the community. Also, you can do other things while we're offline, like sharing us on social media. You can also join us on Discord. And how can people do that, Shalene?
You can join our Discord by clicking the link on our Twitch page, twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. That link is there and available whether or not the channel is live. So you can visit that 24 hours a day.
Excellent.
7 days a week. Alternately, shoot us a message on social media and I'll send you a link.
What's going on in the Discord this week?
Well, we have the return of a prodigal son. Bit Trash Riot has returned to the Discord.
I didn't know he left.
I didn't either until he came back. So yeah, I got a little message from Bit Trash. Hey, you guys still have that Discord? And I said, of course we do. Welcome back.
That's
welcome
so nice.
Home,
yeah,
Trash
welcome
Riot.
home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
So say hello to Bit Trash Riot, everybody.
Oh man. That's great. Yeah. The Discord's been kind of nice this week. Yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I haven't been able to spend as much time there this week. It's been a lot.
Same. I am enjoying everybody's end of summer vacation pictures, though. That's fun.
That's been so fun.
Sullivan is on the coast. Well, is probably back home now, but and RTZ13 is in Turkey, I think, posting some pictures from a beautiful resort in screenshots and stories. So check that out. But on with the show, we have lots to talk about. We've got some news. Shalene's going to walk us through what's going on in the news this week. And we have an update for the terrible, terrible performance of the stock market. So we will give that to you in GameStop. We're also going to talk about some new mail that we've received and what the community is playing through screenshots and stories. And then we're going to cap things off with our gameplay for the week. So, without further ado, this just in. Take it away, Shalene.
Hello. Okay, so the news. Of course, first off, shout out to Joseph Tao. Thank you so much, Joseph, for helping us compile the news every week. I'm going to open up with a story about a YouTuber. Vendor, I don't know if you're familiar with Video Game Donkey.
No.
Yes. I enjoy his videos on YouTube. His reviews tend to be very funny.
Donkey, like D-U-N-K-Y?
D-U-N-K-E-Y. And yeah,
okay.
he's just kind of a silly guy.
Okay. And
he is in the news right now because he's formed an indie games publisher called Big Mode. Donkey's name is Jason Evgeny Gastro, and he launched Big Mode via an announce video this week. He has 7 million subscribers to his channel, and he says that his experience as a YouTuber gives him a good understanding of what makes a game good, basically, and he wants his publishing label to be very developer friendly. A quote from Donkey: "I've been on YouTube for 11 years now, and one of the core themes of my channel has always been to slam dunk soulless cash grabs into the garbage and lift up and praise the truly inspired works of art in this medium. For years and years, I've always sought out the very best indie games out there and have tried to do them justice, putting millions of eyes on the games that actually deserve attention." And his wife, YouTuber Leah B. Gastro, is his co-founder for Big Mode. And Donkey states that me and Leah aren't just the face of this company, we are the company. This is our vision, and our number one priority is to publish some of the very best games out there. He says that he doesn't want to take creative control via his publisher. But he does want to be involved in development.
Cool.
He says, I understand what kind of ideas always work, what ideas never work, what kind of ideas are fresh or need to come back, and what is extremely played out. We've put a lot of effort into making the most developer-friendly contracts possible. I think we're going to bring insane value to the table. And the bottom line is help good games succeed and help them continue to succeed in the future. And I've noticed that there has been a discourse on social media. People have opinions about Dunkey forming a publishing company, and they are largely not
opinions?
Favorable opinions.
Oh, really?
Yes, I've seen just this is anecdotal evidence, of course. This is just based on my own perusal of Twitter. People seem to think that he is being egotistical and that he doesn't understand game development the way that a publisher should, and that this is going to be a disaster, basically. I think that's kind of silly. I feel like the worst case scenario here is that Dunkey invests some money that he loses. You know, that doesn't affect anybody else but Dunkey and his wife. And the best case scenario is that some indie games get funded that wouldn't have otherwise, and they get put in front of an audience of millions of people that otherwise wouldn't have seen them. And maybe some new indie games are introduced to the world and some developers get to follow their dreams and make the games they want to make. I just don't see a problem with this. And I think it's a little elitist of people to really criticize Dunkey for doing this.
I can't really say anything to the person's character.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of their YouTube clips or videos. But people love to make an issue where there is no issue all the time.
Yes.
Politicians specifically also are very good at that. So like, this is probably just some people that were affiliated or involved with him or his channel at some point and are no longer involved and have some sort of harsh bias against him for some reason. But, you know, it's okay. It's okay to be wrong. Right?
I understand not liking Dunkey. He is an abrasive personality. I can understand that. I think his videos are funny. I enjoy most of his videos. And I think it's cool that he's putting his money where his mouth is. So
Big Mode.
I'm interested in following this and seeing what games come from Big Mode in the future. I wish him and Leah well.
Yeah, we should follow them closely.
Absolutely.
Actually, no, I don't really care. But well, I honestly don't care. Don't care.
Tell us how you really feel. That's lovely.
There are more important things in life sometimes, Shalene. I don't know.
Of course. That just struck me as so funny.
I told you that I was a bit irritable today, so sorry about that, everyone.
Okay, that cracked me up. In other content creator news, Twitch streamers are angry right now. Specifically, some of the higher performing Twitch streamers, because Amazon has changed the way that streamers will earn money. So this change is allegedly to afford increasing server costs, and the changes will not affect the vast majority of creators. But content creators who are currently getting a 70-30 revenue split will now be getting a 50-50 revenue split, which is consistent with what the average streamer makes. The 70-30 revenue split was like a special incentive for some of the higher performing streamers. So it's really only the bigger fish that will be affected by this. And it's only putting them into a place where they're equitable with the average run-of-the-mill ordinary streamer, um, I super, I just, I don't know. I have some thoughts about this, and I'm trying to find a way to put it diplomatically. Um, Basically, I think that Twitch can do what they want in terms of this, and if content creators don't like it, they can venture out to one of their other revenue streams. You know, it's, if you're a successful content creator, you have more than one vehicle, and I don't think it's a bad thing for all creators to be equitable. So
Hobbit in the chat says, though from what I was reading, those that are getting the 70-30 split will continue to get the 70-30 split.
oh
Up,
really?
yes. Up until they
I missed that.
hit $100,000 in subscription profit per year. After that, it reverts to 50-50.
That's really interesting. I don't
So
see that anywhere in
so
the article.
yeah, so the way to look at it is the top 500 creators will earn
Mhm.
29% less revenue per subscriber after reaching 100,000 earned in a
Right.
year. And no other Twitch streamer will be affected. But I think that, you know, one of the more alarming things that Devin Nash on Twitter has talked about, and do you know Devin Nash? He's like a
I don't
he's
know,
like a
but you
he's sort of like a business media influencer, kind of like yourself, in a way.
you are much more tuned into Twitch and the conversation
so
around Twitch than
so
I am.
so Dan Clancy, president of Twitch, put out sort of a letter which basically said, look, we're doing this because we can't afford to run the website the way that it is. Which is a little bit interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that there are people on Twitch who absolutely make too much money. And I think that there are exploitations on Twitch that streamers take advantage of. But I mean, I'm just biased because I'm a lowly academic who makes chicken scratch on an annual basis. And I do podcast on Twitch for fun because I enjoy doing it. But it's hard to watch people build a brand around their channel and then actually be like terrible human beings, but end up making millions from that. And I think that there's some issues that I have around morality, but I won't touch on that. I think what this is signaling to, though, is a financial crisis for Twitch itself. We know that it's not a publicly traded company, so there are private backers and things like that. But a lot of the platform's revenue really is generated through user audience and content creation. We have seen a significant increase in ads on Twitch recently, which I think is also a good indication that they are trying to find other streams of revenue to keep the website running. But also, I can't say that I know deeply the intricacies of the business itself. Like what is their employee structure? Are they hiring people that don't really contribute to its success? How much are their executives being paid? Maybe those people could take a cut.
Those are all important questions to ask.
And like, I don't know. I think that we've been talking about Twitch for years, right? And I have a love-hate relationship with that company. And I don't know. I feel like some change is coming for Twitch. And I'm not sure what that's going to look like. But if they're telling top streamers that bring in the bulk of their audience that they have to take a 29% cut in pay, that's not going to go over well. So, but I don't know.
You know what
The
else hasn't gone over well?
what's that?
People leaving their kids at GameStop to be babysat. It's a whole
What?
thing. Did you know that? They're calling it GameStop Daycare. Yeah.
What?
Yes. So people are going into GameStop and just leaving their kids there, and then they go shopping at other shops. Instead of leaving them with a babysitter, they just expect GameStop employees to watch their kids.
I can see how that
Um,
would happen because if you go to the mall, there's only how many stores are kid friendly?
right. And here's a quote from a GameStop employee. I literally had a mom walk in and ask, "Did they behave?" after leaving her kids here.
Oh, that woman would have gotten a mouth. She would have
Oh,
gotten a mouthful.
yes. Isn't that wild? Can you imagine? Just ran a daycare tonight, an employee posted 3 years ago. Why are we considered a daycare service? Minors of varying ages are just left to roam the racks of games and Funko Pops until their parents get back. And sometimes this means kids are ransacking the shelves. Sometimes it means that the employees are dealing with an angry parent who returns and their kid has wandered away. Um, I don't see how they can imagine that the GameStop employee is responsible for their child's whereabouts when they just
That's
abandon
just,
them there.
I mean, that's not, I feel like that's not really like a new thing. Cuz like
Yeah, I just
I remember going to the mall with my parents when I was little and it would be like, "Okay, see you later." you know,
mhm.
I'm going to be at Toys R Us or like I'm going to be at the arcade.
I don't know. I saw this article and it just kind of boggled my mind. And maybe this is one of those things that's like a cultural difference because I grew up very rural, and when you go to town, you stay with your parents. You don't get dropped off at
I
GameStop.
mean, it's absolutely not okay to leave your children with a store employee with the expectation that the employee is going to watch them. And anybody who's listening to the show who works for GameStop or something similar, if somebody drops their kids off at you at the mall and you're on shift, you're completely within your rights to call security and have them come and get the kids.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. How terrible. How terrible. That's just that's
Like if
terrible.
yeah, Hobbit in the chat. Retail workers are not babysitters. You leave your kids somewhere and they go missing, that's on you. Absolutely. Terrible parenting.
That is
Or
so wild.
smart actually because you don't have to pay babysitter fees.
I
Uh,
just can't imagine doing that. I can't imagine. Joseph has some commentary. He says, "This is exactly why the GameStop near my apartment in DC turned off their demo machines. They were so tired of parents just leaving their kids there while they went shopping in the grocery store next door."
it's a thing. It's a
That's
thing.
crazy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that. I mean, I feel like I'm really, in many ways, very unsuitable to be a parent. And then I read a story like that and think, man, I would be the best parent. I would be
There
so
but
much better than these other
yeah.
parents.
There's just a lot of bad parents out there. And like
The bar is so low.
there's this entitlement that like there's this entitlement that like they can just do that. It's so wild.
It really is.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, if I'm going to leave my kid at a mall, it's probably because I'm trying to like get rid of it. Like maybe it'll just go missing and then I won't have to worry about it anymore.
Okay, Vendor, maybe this isn't something that you
This
should
is why I
discuss while it's recorded.
this is why I don't have kids. Boys and girls, this is why I do not have kids. I can't even care for
Gracious.
my plants, let alone care for another human being. So,
Well, let's talk about some other things that we won't find in GameStop other than babysitters. Here is a list of all of the games that have been delayed in 2022 so far. So, this list is extensive, and I thought it was really interesting thing to talk about. we've got so many games in 2022 that were supposed to release that have been delayed. We've got Valkyrie Profile Lilith, which is an updated take on a PSP game.
Okay.
Evil West was delayed to November 22nd. Deliver Us Mars will now be released on February 2nd, 2023. Hogwarts Legacy was supposed to release in 2021 and was then delayed to holiday 2022, and then was delayed again to February 2023. Metal Slug Tactics was delayed. We don't have a new release date for that. River City Girls 2, Marvel's Midnight Suns was supposed to be arriving in 2022. Instead, we will see that in 2023, maybe.
Oh my god.
Arc Raiders delayed
Oh
to
my god.
2023.
I thought you were going to say Arc 2. If Arc 2 is on this list, heads are going to roll. Yo.
Season, A Letter to the Future, Warhammer 40K Dark Tide, Toy Soldiers HD for the Nintendo Switch, Lord of the Rings Gollum has been delayed by a few months, according to an announced statement on Twitter, with no firm launch date. Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, at the earliest will release in April 2023, but it'll likely be later than that. Star Wars Hunters, delayed to 2023. Immortality was delayed until August 30th. So that one is out now, but it was delayed. Sea of Stars, Homeworld 3, Replaced, Chia, Test Drive Unlimited, Solar Crown, Kerbal Space Program 2, the sequel to the highly acclaimed Kerbal Space Program, will arrive in 2023. And a console release date later in the year. Starfield, of course, as we know, was delayed. They had set a very ambitious release date of November 11th, 2022.
I mean, we saw that coming, right?
And it was, yes, I think we all knew that one was gonna move. Redfall has also been pushed out of 2022. Excuse me. The Day Before will be arriving several days later in 2023. The next gen version of The Witcher 3 has been delayed out of 2022 to an unannounced future date. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was originally planned for 2022. That'll be in 2023. Sons of the Forest, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, EA Sports PGA Tour, Starship Troopers, Terran Command, Advance Wars 1 and 2, Reboot Camp, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, Frontiers, Warhammer, Age of Sigmar RTS, The Settlers, Forspoken, Planet of Lana, High on Life, and the list goes on. I just thought this was an interesting thing to look at. I feel like this is some of the most game delays we have ever seen in the game industry.
You know what would be really great, Shalene, is if they said if Skull and Bones was on that list.
Poor Skull and Bones. Do you think that game's ever gonna come out?
No, I don't think it's real. At this point, I think Skull and Bones is a social experiment for marketers.
I feel like Skull and Bones is for you the way that I felt about Death Stranding before it released. I just absolutely didn't believe there was a game for a while. I thought it was some kind of wild...
Well, I mean, in all fairness, now that I've seen gameplay for Skull and Bones, I don't really care to play it. Because they've actually completely changed what the game's original premise was about. And it's very more PvP centric, but Starfield is one that I think I'm a little bit looking forward to. What else? I don't know if there's been a lot of other games. Deliver Us Mars, I think, is the other one that I was really looking forward to. And Hogwarts. You know, despite all of the politics behind it, I'm absolutely still going to play it. So.
And to be clear, we are not mad that these games are delayed. If the games need more time to be good, take the time. I
Yeah.
would rather wait
Yeah.
for a good game than play a broken, buggy, horrible
Honestly, it's
mess
like,
right now.
what makes you more mad? The fact that a game has been delayed
Hmm.
yet again, or that you play a game that was released that is just garbage?
Yes.
And let me
I would,
tell you, as somebody who has never gone back to Fallout 76, I would rather hear about a game's delay
yes.
than a game's way too soon release.
Let's leave those games in the oven until they're ready. We're not mad at you, developers. I just thought it was an interesting thing to just discuss this ep- epidemic of game delays.
Well, and oftentimes on the show we talk about games like new releases for the month, or
Hmm.
upcoming games that we're really excited about. And you know, that's just bad reporting, Shalene, in my opinion, because we're part of the problem. We're giving people false hope on most of these games that are just going to be announced to be delayed anyways.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Ay ay ay.
Wow. You want to talk about some games that haven't been announced?
What do you mean?
GTA 6.
Oh, yes. Let's
We've
talk
got to
about it.
talk about GTA
Oh
6.
god, what a mess.
So, okay, for anybody who's been living under a rock or maybe has not had a chance to spend much time on the internet lately, there was a massive leak of GTA 6 information, including video and some source code. It is one of the biggest leaks in video game history.
Is it?
And that's even more notable because Rockstar, they keep a tight handle on things. They are so good at controlling the messaging around their product. Um, I feel like Rockstar is probably one of the most impenetrable um, companies in terms of keeping things locked down. Um, but there was a hack, and 90 videos from a test build of Grand Theft Auto 6 were released, including GTA 5 and GTA 6 source code and assets. That was a big thunder. I don't know if you can hear that on
Yeah, I
there.
can hear it. That's
Wow.
scary. Is
Yeah, we're getting lots of rain.
Hurricane Fiona going through your yard?
I don't think so. We don't get a lot of hurricanes in New Mexico. We have Al Hurricane. He's in New Mexico sometimes.
Side note, speaking of hurricanes, for those of you who live in the maritime provinces and states, we hope that you are in a safe place. The Hurricane Fiona is actually supposed to hit landfall in Canada this evening, and it's a Category 4. So definitely, our
Mhm.
hearts go out to those communities who are affected.
Absolutely. And also for all of you who are not from New Mexico, I guarantee you the two people from New Mexico who listen to this show really laughed a lot about my
One of
Al
them is
Hurricane
you, and
joke.
one of them is your
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah. There's like two people from New Mexico out there who really thought that Al Hurricane joke was hilarious. Um so GTA 6. It's going to be in Vice City, so that's great. A lot of longtime GTA fans have been craving a return to Vice City. And for many younger fans, this will be their first visit to the Miami like city. And it'll be nice to visit a different coast. The game will have two protagonists, one male and one female. And the legitimacy of these videos has been confirmed by Rockstar. In an official statement, they said an unauthorized third party illegally accessed and downloaded confidential information from our systems, including early development footage for the next Grand Theft Auto. Just in case I disappear, it's probably a power outage. With this much thunder, I expect a power outage.
I will
So,
carry on the rest of the show. Han
yeah.
Solo, it's okay.
Okay, just wanted to shout that out. It's highly likely with that kind of weather that I'm going to get a power outage. Um, in one of the videos, a player character named Lucia robs a waffle restaurant with an accomplice named Jason, taking hostages like they're in Pulp Fiction, according to this PCGamer.com article. A meter counts down time until cops dispatched, and it all looks pretty reminiscent of the robberies in Red Dead Redemption 2. And there are some problems because it is still in development of NPCs clipping through objects, placeholder dialogue text, and a cop car that's been recycled from GTA 5 with only VCPD written on it. And there's lots and lots of information. And it's also worth addressing that this leak was done by a child. A 17-year-old has been arrested for allegedly being responsible. The City of London police have arrested a 17-year-old in Oxfordshire. Matthew Keys reported that the crime is related to the high-profile Rockstar Hack, and more information is expected. This is also the person believed to be responsible for the recent hack of Uber. And this person is believed to be connected to a group that identifies as Lapsus $, that organizes primarily via Telegram. And I just, this person's being investigated also by the FBI. And where is this? The 16-year-old is known online as White or Breach Base, and he's supposed to be one of the hacking group's leaders. And his father commented on this news article. I just really wanted to read the father's comments because I found them entertaining. I've never heard about any of this until recently, the 16-year-old's father said at the time. He's never talked about any hacking, but he is very good on computers and spends a lot of time on the computer. I always thought he was playing games. We're going to try and stop him from going on computers.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
Wow.
You're great. Way to go.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, honestly, how many other parents out there have kids that don't leave their bedrooms?
I love that. It was so funny. And this whole thing started a really interesting conversation. There were some posts. Well, there's always going to be posts criticizing the videos from this leak, saying that, this game is probably practically done. This is about what we're going to be seeing at release. And why does it look so bad? This looks like garbage. And I feel like the game development community kind of came together to say, no, that's not how game development works. And a lot of developers shared some early some visuals and videos of their own games during the development process. And I found this fascinating to see what games look like before we get our hands on them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've clicked through to this VG247 article, Vendor, but have a look at this Thunderjaw from Horizon Zero Dawn. It looks like a Lego creature. Fabulous. Just seeing that unfinished asset in this world. It's so good. And Splatoon was prototyped with a little square block as the player character. It's just brilliant watching how games are made. And I feel like this, while maybe the community didn't need to come together to defend Rockstar, because I feel like Rockstar is not a company that needs defending.
No.
It did open up some wonderful opportunities to see some bits of game development that the public doesn't usually see.
Okay. So, what do you think?
What do I think about what?
About what you've seen. Did you watch any of the gameplay?
I watched a little bit in as research, for the podcast today. I don't want to see a bunch of unfinished content, frankly. I know that the game's going to be amazing because Rockstar makes amazing games. And I'm going to buy it, and I want to know as little about it as possible. When I go in, I want to experience it on my own. I want to discover things on my own. So.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's fair. And I think that your trust in Rockstar is a testament to the quality of their product. Yeah.
I mean, I've never been disappointed by a Rockstar game. Never.
Exactly. Me either. So, but that just makes me even more excited to look at what's going on behind the scenes and kind of speculate on what to expect. Because, okay, Vice City is like, you know how I'm always going on about how Fallout New Vegas is my Fallout. Well,
Yes.
Vice City is my GTA. Like
Right.
those were the days, you know? Um, and as a longtime fan of the GTA franchise, I did watch quite a bit. I have made some observations. Um,
Well, tell me what you think.
so, well, okay. I think probably one of the biggest things for me is, uh, seeing a female protagonist.
Hmm. I
Um,
think that's great.
I think that
I've
that is
yeah.
absolutely fantastic. I think it's long overdue. And watching some of the footage of a female protagonist just explore the city, or be in certain restaurants and things like that was really cool. I think that's going to add a really
Mm.
fresh sort of take on that. But I worry that they're not going to be able to do that well.
You think?
Well, we've seen before how um, game developers try to gain the perspective of a female protagonist, and they don't do it that well. Hair and makeup is a great example
Yes.
of how that is not the greatest thing. So I hope that the team can capture the essence of what's involved in a female protagonist. And I honestly, like, obviously can't speak to that, right, as a cis man. So, but I think it would be cool to see how they weave a story around that as well.
Hmm.
And like, what kind of things would happen? Would you be catcalled while you're walking down the street? Um, are there certain vulnerabilities or strengths that are in a female protagonist in the GTA realm compared to others? I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I do
Um,
like that there is still multiple protagonists. That was something I really
yeah,
enjoyed in
that was
GTA
the next
5.
thing I was gonna say. Yeah, multiple protagonists. Yeah. Um, I think the game elements look pretty good. There's certainly a lot of immersion. I'm very excited to see how this compares to my memories of Vice City. I certainly expect that they will have certain threads of history there, monuments and Easter eggs and storylines that play on
Hmm.
to past storylines from Vice City, for example.
Maybe some characters that you remember.
Yeah, people who come back to the game, but maybe they're like older now, um, or they're retired, and they're in like a some sort of facility, or there's a gravestone for them somewhere, and it's part of the story or something like that. I don't know. Um, I think, like, from what I can tell from the footage, we're seeing basically like a direct port from GTA 5 at this stage in the game.
Hmm.
And I mean, I think it's safe to assume that we will see sort of an overhaul of physics, specifically when it comes to things like driving cars, running, combat, and things like that. I mean, look at the horse physics in Red Dead Redemption 2, how much that
Hmm.
changed, right? Um, I think at its core, GTA is largely a driving game. I am
That's a very
curious.
important part of the game.
I'm curious to see what the driving physics are going to be like, and is there going to be like support for like wheels? Probably not,
Hmm.
because I think it'll be coming out first on a console,
They
and then
usually
PC.
optimize GTA per controller.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. But like, how much more satisfying would it be, and how much more of an audience would they gain, or a player base would they gain, if they made it PC friendly? And then, like, what's the I mean, there's all this other stuff that's going to come after the fact, like online communities and things like that. We already know GTA role playing is a huge, huge, huge thing. So I'm curious to see what that's going to be like. But I mean, I'm optimistic. I knew going into watching those videos that what I was going to see was not going to be the end product by
Oh,
any
of
means,
course.
and so like not to get disappointed, and like be sort of let down because it's a leak. If this
Yeah,
is
these were not meant to be seen.
right, if this is what you think the game's going to be like when it's done and published, then you need to wake up, right? And think
Yes.
about what needs to be done. So, but after seeing it with my own eyes, I think that I'm kind of glad that it's in a modern day setting.
Hmm.
It seems like it's in a modern day setting. I don't know.
Yes, I
Um,
agree with that.
and I think that returning to the past, because Vice City was set in the 80s, right?
Right.
I think returning to the past is probably not what I would want, especially because I think that they would have the missed opportunity of being able to include those story elements from the previous Vice City.
Hmm.
Um, absolutely, absolutely over the moon that Vice City is at the heart of the game. And I think
Okay.
I probably have mentioned that before, that like what I would like to see in the next GTA would be Vice City, but
I
like
think you
remade. I'm
have,
pretty sure I've
yes,
said
on a
that.
prior episode of this podcast.
So,
Hmm.
but like it's crazy to think that, and like Rockstar has said this openly, that they've been developing GTA 6 since 2014. That's 8 years of development.
That's been a minute.
And
Yeah,
I mean, if you
it's
think
been a
about
minute.
the lifespan of GTA 5, it's been what, 10 years? 10 good years that they had?
It feels like longer. I love GTA 5, but really, really, I mean, the dead horse has been beaten.
I
It's
mean,
it's
they know how successful this franchise is, so Rockstar is definitely going to be looking at expanding and
and I am
creating new
part of the
streams of
problem.
revenue.
I have purchased GTA 5 on at least 3 different platforms.
Two for me. No, three for
Yes.
me. Three for me. Yeah.
I had it
Um,
on 360, I had it on the Xbox One, and I've purchased a PC version as well. So at least three. At
yeah.
least three. I'm part of the
Honestly, I
problem.
think I'm excited. I'm excited because, we were just talking about it a few articles ago about how like I don't believe that this game exists. And you can do everything in your power as a company to try to convince people that you're working on a game, but unless they see that you're working on a game, right? And now
Hmm.
this is sort of like confirmed knowledge that it's happening and it's coming. And all I have to do is sit back and let it happen, and I'm okay with that. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
So
that's my take on it.
lovely. Thank you for sharing. Um, so speaking of beloved franchises, let's talk a little bit about Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
I have long been an Assassin's Creed player. I was deeply enamored of the first six or so, and I have definitely delved into most of the others. And recently there was a Ubisoft Forward event and an Assassin's Creed showcase. And I want to talk about specifically what was shown in the Assassin's Creed showcase. We got a little peek at 5 different Assassin's Creed games that are being made. The
Wow.
one that is due to be released first is called Assassin's Creed Mirage. It is set in Baghdad. And I believe the main character is someone who appears in Valhalla. I haven't finished Valhalla, so I don't know.
Okay.
But I have that impression. And what I'm hearing is that Assassin's Creed Mirage is going to be more of an action adventure game. So some of the recent Assassin's Creed games have been these huge open world RPGs. I want to talk specifically about Valhalla. Valhalla is I've played enough of it to know that it is a brilliant historical RPG, but I don't think it's much of an Assassin's Creed game. And I enjoyed the time I spent with it. I plan to go back someday, but it's just not very assassin-y
Okay.
to roll up in a Viking longboat and shatter people with an axe. That's not what I think of when I think of the Assassin's Creed franchise. And
Okay.
I want to be sneaky and stabby and stuff. And Hobbit is saying that they loved Valhalla, and Valhalla has a lot. There's a lot to love about it. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I think it's a great game, but I think it's a bad Assassin's Creed game. Um, I mean, Vikings don't make excellent assassins.
They're
They're
clunky.
Vikings. They're Vikings. And do I want to play a
Fusto
long
raw, okay?
RPG
Fusto raw.
as a Viking shield maid? Yes, I do. But if I am in the mood to be a sneaky stabby assassin, I don't think, you know what, Vikings. Yeah, that's the thing. So I really hope I've missed those classic Assassin's Creed games, and I hope that this will also go back to some of the more traditional gameplay styles, and not just be a shorter game that's more focused on a more contained story. I hope that it will also feel very much like an assassin game. So that's what I want from Mirage, and I think it looks very promising either
It does,
way.
yeah.
I think if it is more traditional or if it is more like modern games, it's going to be an excellent game either way. But personally, my desire is to see it be a little bit more traditional assassin-y.
Yeah, Mirage may just be my entry game.
Really? What
Yeah.
makes you say that?
I like the setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
it's like Persian, and it's very sort of
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. Yeah.
I really was impressed with the trailer. I think it looks
The
great.
cinematic trailer is nice. I still have to
Mm-hmm.
look at the gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph Tao, I know he's a big Assassin's Creed fan, and he says in chat that an Assassin's Creed game is anything that continues to expand the lore and their effect through history and the modern world stuff. And that's absolutely a fair argument, because those games do, they are about, it's all in the shared world. But to me, it's just not the same. It's just not the same.
So what else have they got on the list then?
Okay, so let's talk about the others because I'm excited about them as well. The next up is Assassin's Creed Codename Red. And Codename Red is projected to be one of those big open world RPGs in a historical time period, specifically feudal Japan.
Cool.
And that is a setting that Assassin's Creed fans have been clamoring for the longest time. And I'm very excited about that. It looks really cool. I think that's going to be a great fit for Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Codename Jade is going to be a mobile game with touch controls, and it is projected to be a full Assassin's Creed experience, but it on a mobile platform.
Neat.
The Great Wall of China will be a climbable parkour experience. And I also want to talk about Codename Hexy. And this one had a much shorter trailer, but I think it's the one I was the most excited about.
Oh, really?
As this one came up, we start out in a dark forest, and it feels very much like a person is being hunted in this forest. And it has this dark vibe to it. And I got this very spooky, witchy vibe from it. And then you see this assassin logo in made in very much a witch way. A very witchy sort of made out of bones and branches. And it is codenamed Hexy. And Hexy is actually the German word for witch. So my immediate thought as soon as I saw that charm drop was, this is an Assassin's Creed set
made
during the
for.
witch trials. Like
Oh,
this is
okay.
this is going to be during the witch hunts.
Yes.
And some further information seems to indicate that it is set during the Roman Empire witch trials. So
Oh, that's
I'm
gonna be
super stoked for this. This is
good.
my jam. I love that kind of thing.
Yes, me too.
So I am very excited about it. I think it's going to be really good. And finally, there is a Netflix mobile game with touch controls that will probably be related to the Netflix series that they're working on.
Interesting.
Yes, Assassin's Creed Infinity was also mentioned, and it doesn't seem to be a game so much as it is touted as a platform. And I wonder if that is going to be kind of a launcher or something like a more robust version of the what did they call that? There used to be this Ubisoft login that you use
Origin?
for everything.
Was it Origin?
No, that's EA's thing.
Oh.
Ubisoft had this thing where you logged in, and if you linked all your games, then you could get you could get some special skins and upgrades and items and
Ooh.
stuff. So, yeah, I'm very interested in all of these. I'm very hopeful for Mirage, and I think that Hexy is going to be my jam.
I like it.
You play. Thank you, Joseph. You play. That's
You play.
you could get points for doing different achievements and stuff, and then you could redeem your points for a new outfit for your assassin, stuff like that. So, yeah, that's the Assassin's Creed news, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I like I'm starting to pay more attention to the Assassin's Creed franchise.
You know, I really think you would enjoy some of the more recent Assassin's Creed games, like Assassin's Creed Origins or Valhalla.
Yeah.
I think those games would appeal to you. I feel like you would enjoy them.
Yeah.
So that might be something worth checking out when they hit a sale or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. So speaking of new announcements,
Okay.
there was also a Nintendo Direct, and the only thing that I really want to talk about from this is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So this is the sequel to Breath of the Wild, which was originally announced, I believe, as Breath of the Wild 2. But it has a title now, Tears of the Kingdom. We have seen a trailer, and there's this whole Sky Island situation. It looks very reminiscent of Skyward Sword. And I think there are going to be some great new bits of lore and some great new mechanics in this game, and I cannot wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's launching in May, and I'm gonna be, I can already feel myself coming down with something. I'm definitely gonna be homesick from work on May the 12th, and probably playing Legend of Zelda. I do think it was really unfortunate timing that they released a game called Tears of the Kingdom the week the Queen died. That feels like it could have been timed better.
Oh, I mean, you could just make a national holiday out of it, but still make everybody work.
That seems like it was terrible timing that they announced this within a day or two of the passing of the Queen. But that was not great. Joseph also commented on that in the show notes. It's so funny. He wishes they would have waited on the reveal until the Game Awards, considering the timing with the Queen, but they did what they did. So yeah, Joseph, I feel the same way. And there was also a PlayStation event that was held, a PlayStation State of Play. There were some amazing looking games shown. And the one that I am excited about, again, there's only one that I'm very excited about, and it is God of War Ragnarok. We got a new story trailer for God of War Ragnarok. This game it's going to be incredible, and I cannot wait to play it. And I want it right now, injected directly into my veins. I'm
sorry.
Yeah. But okay, sorry. I was maybe a little too enthusiastic, but
No,
I am very excited. Very
I'm enjoying
excited
it.
for God of War Ragnarok.
Um,
And it's
yeah.
unfortunate I'm gonna be out of town on the week that this game launches, which is not the best timing, but I will definitely play it when I get back. I'm
When is it
considering
launching?
taking the PS5 with me. Um,
When is it launching?
what is the date? It's in November.
I
I
mean,
want to say
I
it's
mean, it's.
November. Joseph, can you tell us what day Ragnarok is launching? It's the second week of November.
I mean,
I
it's
think it's like
never
the ninth of November or
a video
something like
game has
that.
never stopped you from bringing a console with you on vacation.
Yeah, but this time I would have to bring it on a plane, and
Oh, that's no good. You
like
don't
the
want to. No.
PS5 is so big,
Yeah.
and
And
I
like
just
taking that through security.
yeah, and I mean I have a hard time getting enough clothing and stuff in the carry-on. The ninth. Thank you, Joseph. He confirms it is November the ninth. I'm gonna be gone that whole week. And I did briefly consider taking the PS5 with me. But it's just gonna have to wait until I get home. So yeah. God
Okay.
of War Ragnarok. Can't wait. That's the news.
I should play it just to spite you and be like, it's so good while
I'd
you're
be so
away.
mad.
Oh,
You
man.
really should, though, now that the original God of War, well, the original, now that the 2018 God of War is available on PC, you should definitely play that. It's a
Yeah,
masterpiece.
yeah. Actually, I want to note also Joseph Tao in the chat mentioned Skull and Bones is out on November 8th.
Mhm.
Which yeah, which kind of makes him hope for a delay on it, but we were just talking about how we were joking about how Skull and Bones was going to be delayed again, but it's
Yeah.
actually coming out. Like it's actually coming out. There's a date.
Poor Skull and Bones. It's had such a fraught development cycle.
I know. I feel like it's going to come out and people are going to be like, "Meh."
Yeah. I feel like it missed its window.
It
But
did.
maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it will come out and people will love it and it will be beloved and
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And we'll spend hours playing it. And everybody's gonna be like, God of what? I'm just too busy playing Skull and Bones. That's not gonna happen.
Well, is that anything else you got?
That's all I've got for the news, unless you had something to add.
No, that's it.
Okay. It was basically just a time for me to just geek out over some things I'm excited for.
Yeah, I'm excited. That was great news.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Let's move on to our next segment, which is GameStack. So the stock market took a bit of a tumble this week. Basically, everything has underperformed except for Nintendo that we report on a weekly basis. And for our listeners, just a reminder, these prices are in comparison to the previous Friday. Except in this case, it would be the previous Friday because Shalene decided to have a nap. So Sony closed at $68.43, down $6.95. Microsoft at $237.92, down $8.54. Nintendo was up $1.50, up at $52.60. Take-Two down $110.36, down $17.42 in the last 2 weeks.
$17. You think that's related to the hack?
Maybe, yeah. Activision down $3.56, closing at $74.95. Ubisoft at $5.90, down $1.41. EA at $115.64, down $13.29, and Tencent closing out at $34.87, down $3.96. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on with the stock market, but it's a bad week. The Dow Jones has plunged to its lowest level since 2020, I think.
Oof.
U.S. stocks overall fell very sharply on Friday, as investors continue to worry about even more federal rate hikes, and this is specifically with the Federal Reserve and the announcement to increase the rate And yeah, it's just we're seeing just more of a bear market, right? And this
Mm-hmm.
year has been, I think, a little bit challenging for most stocks and investors. They don't really have a lot of places to make money at the moment, and buying into stocks and then selling off is just not yielding what is typically expected, especially post pandemic. So
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting to see. I think, word of the wise is batten down the hatches and just hold on to the shares you've got if you can handle a certain percentage of losses, but don't panic sell. That's bad. That's 2008 financial crisis bad. So don't do that. Anyways, that's the stock market and my very haphazard and unprofessional advice on investing. But we should probably check our mailbox.
You've got mail.
We've got mail. Shalene?
Yes, our first mailbag comes from Sater. Query: can PvP and PvE coexist in an open world sandbox MMO? Or do you think that PvA game destined to split into PvP and PvE servers or workarounds like takeovers in Sea of Thieves? I feel like Sea of Thieves is actually a pretty good example of how PvP and PvE can work together, can coexist. And I know you have thoughts. I know you've got thoughts on that. But I feel like by and large, those two aspects of the game do mingle pretty well. But there is never going to be a PvP and PvE situation where those two elements blend that is going to absolutely satisfy everyone. There are always going to be some people who say they don't want any PvP in their game, and there are always going to be people who want that option. I I think it's probably better to keep them separate. I really do.
I think that's a fair assessment. Can you first of all educate me? What is PVA?
I have no idea.
Okay, so I'm not the only one. Okay. Um Player versus
All
all?
I don't know. Uh it I have no idea. Player
Okay,
versus
so
all maybe.
so yeah, I think you're right. Sea of Thieves is a good example of how developers have sorta, kinda, little bit found a good balance between PvP and PvE. You've got to dangle a lot
Ah,
of
Sater is in chat. He confirms player versus all.
player versus all. Um, you've got to. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
You've got to dangle a lot of carrots in a blended MMO environment, because if you don't, we're going to see exactly what happened with Sea of Thieves. So in the early evolution of Sea of Thieves, we had PvP environment mixed with PvE, and you had the two player bases, and then you had people who liked both, and it didn't work. There
Mm-hmm.
was a significant amount of griefing. There was just toxicity that was made it really, really bad. It drove a lot of people away from the game at the start of what I consider to be the most important time of a game's development.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, when games are constantly being developed and updated. Um, so that, I think, is something to consider, and I think that Rare took a really good approach to it in that they like I said, they dangled a lot of carrots. So they introduced a lot of in-world content that sort of distracted PvP players
Mm-hmm.
from griefing, like because there were people that were interested in the storyline, and some of the environmental stuff and doing these big battles
Yeah.
and things like that. But they are in a cycle still where when the season is over, griefing goes up
More grieving. Yes.
because people get bored. But there's also just people who are just jerks and all they want to do is watch the world burn. And those people are always going to be in PvP games. Doesn't matter, I don't think, which games. I should backtrack and say it really actually does matter on the context. If we're doing like a PUBG style PvP environment, I mean, that's just the way it is.
Right.
But in a blended PvP and PvE open world sandbox MMO, there's always going to be people who just want to wreck your day. That's the whole purpose of why they're there. And it took a long time for me to learn that. And be okay with it. Actually, I'm still not okay with it.
Yes.
Because it goes against my principles. But I agree with you, Shalene. They should be separate.
It's really interesting.
Or at least people should have the option to make it separate.
I find it really interesting to see what happens in communities where PvP is an option. Because another big example of this is Fallout 76. Fallout 76 launched with PvP as an option. After you hit, I think it was level 6, then you were eligible to participate in PvP. And you could be griefed, you know, you could be just trying to do a quest and random people could just kill you and take your junk. And it was not that fun. And it was something that Bethesda really anticipated would be a major part of the game, but the people didn't want it. It wasn't something that the Fallout community wanted, and nobody really participated. And pretty soon they offered the option for pacifist mode and completely removed the teeth from PvP. Now you can just choose not to engage. And while there is still technically PvP in the game, because you can turn off pacifist mode and you can become wanted by picking a lock and engage PvP, but it's very toothless now. And
you mean toothless?
Toothless, yes. But on the other hand, within Fallout 76, of course, existed a marvelous game mode called Nuclear Winter that included both PvP
Here
and
we go.
PvE. And it was a brilliant blend of fighting mobs and fighting other players. And it worked so well. And it was so fun trying to do things strategically. You know, if at the end when the circle is small and you're being attacked by a scorch beast and you're trying to decide, do I fight back against this scorch beast or do I just suffer the damage so that they won't notice me here, the other players? It's so interesting.
I think that's when I went out. I retired on a high note. Archon and I, we got a chicken dinner in Nuclear Winter, and I was like, I'm done.
Yes.
I'm done.
I loved Nuclear Winter, RIP. But I think probably the best solution is to have zoned PvP. I really think that you need to know that if I go here, then I am at risk. This is not a safe space for me. I could be attacked. And I think that's probably the best way to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a triggering topic for me because I am so passionate about playing in Sea of Thieves, but less worried or less interested in the PvP aspects of it. I just want to sail with friends. And there's lots of combat in Sea of Thieves that doesn't involve other players. And I'm okay with that. Like, I like that. So there's just this added stress when you see another ship in the horizon and you're like,
yes,
I gotta go fill my pockets with cannonballs.
And you know, if you're experiencing an NPC enemy, you know it's an enemy. You know, but when another ship rolls up, maybe they're going to attack you and take your lunch money. Or maybe they're going to be super cool people and you're going to be friends and sail around together. And you never know.
The
And that's
challenge,
one of the things that I don't like that really gives me
yeah.
anxiety
And
is
and the
not knowing what
challenge
to
the
expect.
challenge about that, Shalene, is that people automatically always assume that you're out to kill them.
Hmm.
And so when you have two ships coming together and they both think that each other is bad, that's
Hmm.
that's the that's the starting point usually
Yes.
in most interactions in Sea of Thieves. So it doesn't really work. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I
But
still
it
think that
it also can be really fun though if somebody attacks you and you're like prepare to repel borders and you just ruin their day and make them uninstall
maybe
the game. That can be fun as well.
maybe, but 95% of the time I don't want that.
Hmm.
Like actually 98% of the time I don't want that. Um
Hmm.
yeah, good question, Sater. Good question.
Yeah, I
Anything
enjoyed
else?
that conversation. Let's leave the other question until next week. We are dragging a little long in this show today, so I think
Okay.
we should move on to our
Okay.
next topic.
How can people write into the show?
You can visit our Discord and drop a message in the Mail Stack channel, or you can send us an email at info@wejustlovegames.com. Info@wejustlovegames.com.
Awesome. Well, it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, and that is sorry, screenshots and stories. Um, there it is. I was wondering when it was gonna happen. Uh, Here is some awesome screenshots and
Ooh, this is
stories.
Uncharted.
Yeah, so this shot comes to us from who? Where is this? Where
I
is
don't know,
this
but
in
I
our
know
thing?
Nathan Drake when I see him.
This is Sully. Sully wrote this in. He
Is
said,
this the first one? It looks kind of like it might be the first one.
started the second adventure of Nathan Drake, Uncharted 2.
Okay, Uncharted 2.
Yeah. This next one is great. It's from Joshy, and he says, playing some
What on
Seven
earth
Days to
is
Die with Mr.
happening
Twig.
here?
So Tim apparently has a server, and Joshy joined Tim's server on 7 Days to Die. Apparently he built a shrine. Can you explain this horrific,
I'm not
grotesque
sure I
image?
should explain it. Joshy. So we've got a platform here, and on the center of this platform is some kind of limbless humanoid creature. Presumably, it's like a zombie with no arms or legs, and he is surrounded by pillar candles. And I
Oops.
guess I don't know if we're like gonna summon something or try and like I don't know what we're doing here, but it makes me nervous.
Okay, next. He's got this one, and
Ooh,
he's on a motorbike. He's got purple gloves on. I love it.
they're
And
fab.
he's on some sort of ridge somewhere, and it's overlooking the entire server. It looks really cool.
Got like a fat tire on that motorcycle. It looks cool.
Yeah. And this last one's a great screenshot. It's an old house on the left side. It's blue. It's got brick base, and the sun is just peeking around the corner.
Look at that ray tracing.
Yeah, it looks really nice. 7 days, yeah. And this next one comes more from Joshy. These are also 7 Days to Die, and he's got a picture of this lovely little pergola, and it looks like maybe it's on a roof, and there's some old tattered
Mhm.
couches and some shelves that look like mini fridges with beers of bottle in it.
That's totally a mini bar.
Beers of bottle. Bottles of beer. Sorry.
There are 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
It says the chill spot on a sign on the wall, and there's pumpkins on either side.
Hmm.
Looks really cool. Although I don't know what this giant writing is off in the distance.
I
Faux.
believe it is a reversed, and if we looked at it from the other side, it would read House of Hooligans.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Yes.
You are correct on that. Another shot from Joshy. He's on a hill somewhere, some pine trees, on his bike, and this last rendition of him is the chill spot, but it's at nighttime, and the light
Lovely.
is shining everything. Looks really nice.
That is definitely a very chill spot.
This image from RTZ13.
Oh, This is gorgeous. What is this?
Explain for our listeners.
Okay, so we've got like a rocky desert, and then there's this incredible sky with, I don't know, are we looking at planetary rings? Is it, it's red and orange and gold and swirly and magnificent. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous scene.
So RTZ13 says, I managed to break the loop. Death Loop is just another brilliant arcane game, which I thought
This
in the
is
beginning
Deathloop?
that I wouldn't like. Yes, this
Oh
is
my
Deathloop.
goodness. I've heard that Dishonored fans will really enjoy Deathloop, and this beautiful screenshot makes me want to play.
And this next one of presumably either an NPC or his character in some sort of warehouse, and he's got a
Warehouse 13.
It's like a machine gun,
submachine gun,
and there's some lighting ambiance. Looks kind of cool. He's got a wicked turtleneck on, and it must be his character. I don't know.
This is his character.
This
sure.
next image is really cool as well. He's taking a headshot of some machine, robot, enigma. I don't know. And I like his outfit. Leather jacket, says Dead Dogs on the back of it. It's got his submachine gun. Some space station off in the background. Then this one from Joshy.
What is this?
He says he decided to give a go at CK3. Look at this lovely gentleman.
Oh my gosh, what a character. He's magnificent.
Can you explain this for the listeners?
I'm not sure I can, but I'm going to give it a shot. So, our hero is not terribly tall. He has a bit of a pot belly and very small hands. He doesn't appear to be wearing pants. He's got a long face and a man bun. His ears come to a very sharp point. He has a Roman nose and a very Kronk-like chin. He's glorious. What a glorious main character.
Oh, and this next one is, it's kind of zoomed out. Let me see if I can. I think we've had this picture before, but I will explain it again. This is VOD. It says, I went to visit the bounty broker in State of Decay 2 with some buddies, and I think I accidentally graduated art school. So it's an image of his character just standing, and in the background there's a Jeep or some sort of SUV on its rear bumper, just standing straight up in the air.
Looks like something from the Cadillac Ranch.
Yeah. It's very good. You should encase it in cement. You might win a national award.
Brilliant.
Anyways, that's the community's gameplay. What do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. You go ahead.
All right. So, first bumper.
What?
I love the bumpers.
What have you been playing, Vendor?
Okay. So I've been pretty busy playing video games. I got up to no good with Jess and Hobbit in both Deep Rock Galactic, and also Satisfactory has had a new update. I'll touch on that in a moment. But Deep Rock Galactic has they have their Oktoberfest event. And so this is a picture of the Abyss Bar, and it's totally decked out. I love it.
Is that a massive wooden pretzel?
That is not a massive wooden pretzel. It is a massive inflatable pretzel. Because when you kick it, it like floats away and it makes a squeaking noise. It's really great. It's like a blow up pretzel. And it's so cute. I love Oktoberfest. There's stuff everywhere. They have like grasses and leaves and garland, and they've got pumpkins everywhere, and there's pretzels, and then there's like giant inflatable sausages just lying around the lobby that you can kick. There is bales of hay lying around, and then Lloyd, who is the robot at the bar, has added a new beer to his menu. It's called the Best Worst Beer. And it is basically a beer that has a giant sausage. It's served with a giant sausage in it. And the mechanic of you drinking the beer is you take the sausage and you stir your beer with the sausage. And then you take a bite out of the sausage and then you drink the beer and then you eat the rest of the sausage. It's
I
so
feel like
gross.
that's a thing. I feel like sausage beer is probably a thing.
Probably a thing. Probably a thing.
That's something they do almost certainly like in Germany
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. So the lobby is definitely pumpkin spice everything. They have added this new perk to, or this new side thing to the missions where you can find a tankard, like a German beer stein with the lid, out on the missions. And if you collect a certain amount of them, you get additional XP and things like that. So that's fun.
Very fun.
Oh, I forgot to take pictures of my character, but there is a hat that is a miniature beer keg, wooden beer keg, that just sits on top of your head, and it's on a mat that like flops over the sides. It's so cute. And then you know the Swedish girls with like the long yellow braids and the green hat? You can have that hat, and it's so adorable on these
amazing.
Big muscular like mining dwarfs with this
hat. Does it
hat
come with the blonde braids?
Yes, it does come with the blonde braids. It's so cute. Yeah, Lloyd also added another beer to his menu called the Wormhole Special, and when you drink it, you teleport to somewhere random outside of the space station. And so this was my first experience with the beer. We drank it, and then we ended up in some place in an asteroid, and you can see off in the distance there's like our spaceship, but it was super blurry because I was not only frozen but very, very drunk. So yeah, so that was fun. Satisfactory had some updates as well. Remember how I told you about our giant massive oil refinery operation?
I do. It sounded like a fun time.
Well, we got like 75% of that project done. Well, it turns out with Satisfactory 6 updates, they have added terrain and trees to that area. So we have, and Jess and I were like, oh, so excited to check out the Satisfactory 6 updates. And we go over to the oil refinery, and it's just like trees growing out of refineries and like whole machines encased in stone. We'll never get them back. They're gone forever. But somehow they're still working, so we don't touch it. But yeah, there's some pretty good updates. I wanted to show you this picture. Look at this. Look. So this is Jess. They added a boombox.
That is so cute.
And it's so cute. It's the Fix-It boombox. And there's little stickers of Jonathan, our employee of the month, alien dude that wanders around our factory while we're working. But it's super cool. You can find cassette tapes out in the world. And they're like Easter eggs. So there's a Deep Rock Galactic cassette tape that you can play in the Fix-It boombox. There is also a Goat Simulator cassette tape that we played in the boombox, and the one that she has loaded right now is called Me and My Golf Cart. And I think it's like a local streamer or the developer, one of the developers for Satisfactory, who basically made like a synth album. And so there's 3 tracks on that cassette tape, and it's actually so cool because you can put the boombox down where you're working and like turn it on and just like listen to tunes while you're working, you know. It's
so
really
fun.
cute. Yeah. I have another image actually here of this is me holding the boombox, so that's kind of what it looks like from your first person point of view.
I love that it takes up half of the real estate of the screen.
I know, it's so ridiculous. There is this bass button. I don't know if you can see it where my index finger is. There's a red switch that you flick up. If you flick that switch, it makes a bass boom that like blows up like the whole area with like sound waves. It's really cool.
So you've got a subwoofer.
Yeah, it's basically an overpowered subwoofer. So Satisfactory is pretty good. I completed exploring the map on foot. There were some areas that we hadn't been able to get to, and
is it a big map?
It's pretty big, yeah. It's deceivingly big. I'm really excited to see that some of the biomes have been updated. So
You know.
yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into that. What else? Okay. Among Trees. Did I tell you that I bought Among Trees?
You did, and I'm looking forward to hearing more.
Yeah, so I had started it, and I think that I had died the last time I talked to you about it, and I hadn't gone back to it. Well, I jumped back into it. Oh my god, I died so many times. I finally got the hang of it, though. It took a little bit. The first couple of times I either starved or froze to death and didn't make it back to my cabin in time. Then there was another time where I ate some bad mushrooms and I ended up poisoned, and there was nothing I could do to counteract the poison. So I just died alone in the woods. It's very sad.
I mean, haven't we all died alone in the woods on mushrooms at least once?
I don't know about that. And then I starved again, probably a couple times, I think at least. Then I finally was able to make a crafting room where I built a fishing rod. I made myself a pickaxe and then also a hatchet and a compass. And then I went fishing because I thought, you know what? Fishing is probably better than just scrounging for berries and mushrooms that might kill me. So I went down to the lake where I knew where to go and started fishing. And the fishing mechanic is so bad. It's so bad. It's possibly as bad as Stardew Valley fishing mechanic.
Ooh.
Yeah. But it was fun. I caught some perch and some pickerel and cooked them up in my little cooking pot. Right now I'm working on building a greenhouse, which takes a bit of time, but I had a run-in with a bear, which was terrifying, and it was so funny because I actually did like the same tactic that I would do in real life with the bear. Like I just sort of like stopped and slowly sort of just backed away quietly and like got to a place where it couldn't see me. Yeah, it was kind of interesting.
Brilliant.
Among Trees, very fun. I'm excited to do some more exploring in that.
Thunder, have you ever played Don't Starve?
No, I haven't, but you've told me that it's like...
I feel like we need to play Don't Starve together.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yes, I think you love the survival games, and Don't Starve is the only one that I've ever really managed to love. And I think we might enjoy that.
Yeah, yeah.
We can have Archon join us. It'll be grand.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got the strategies, man. He's got the strategies.
He is a strategist.
Yes. And I can make a hat out of a bush. So it's great. We'll play Don't Starve. I think we should do it.
Okay. I mean, we have to get through the backlog of, the 19 other games that we have to play together. So
yes. One of these days we'll finish It Takes Two, the 2021 Game of the Year. So was that it for your gameplay?
Yeah, that was it. What have you got?
Okay. Fallout 76 is the only thing I've played over the last 2 weeks. And I spent a lot of time doing inventory management. Sometimes all Bethesda games are just the inventory management game. And even that can be really satisfying for me sometimes.
Okay.
Especially this week, because I did have a lot of stress in my life, and doing that organization, I found it hit that spot for me.
Okay.
In terms of I achieved things, I made things happen. I couldn't do that in real life, but I did it in the video game, and it helped.
Okay.
It helped my mental health. I really enjoy stocking my vending machine in Fallout 76. I love putting things up for sale. I don't know why I find that so satisfying. And of course, The Pit content has launched. And I don't think I love it as much as I expected to.
Really?
Yes, I do love the environment and having a new place to go, but it's not really, there's not that much incentive to explore it, and I don't know that it's going to be sustainable to run this event very often because it does take a while and there is prep work before you can go. And with all of the other Fallout daily homework to do, I'm just not sure how often I'm going to want to take that time.
Huh.
It is fun though to have new content, a new story, and new lore to explore. That's a wonderful thing. I really do enjoy that. I've had new terminals to parse through and new dialogue trees to go through, and you know how much I love that kind of thing.
Yep.
I don't like how much the responders have junked up the White Spring. I
Ah,
loved the White Spring. It was this bastion of class in
preservation.
this. Yes, I loved it. And now there's just garbage and construction everywhere. They've been there for like 2 weeks and it's just sawdust on the floors. And I hate it. But I do appreciate that they fixed up the ugly door to the downstairs during the test server. It was a really, really ugly door. But now it's at least it kind of fits with the rest of the decor in the White Spring. I do have mixed feelings about the major changes that have come to the world of Fallout 76. It's not the same game it was a year ago, and it's not the same game it was 2 years ago, and it's definitely not the same game it was at launch. And
Oh.
in many ways, that's a good thing.
Okay.
But in some ways, I am resistant to change, and I I don't know. It's weird to me that I can never go back and experience that lonely, haunting world
Yeah.
that was there the first time I played.
Yeah.
Um,
That's this. It's the same for me,
mhm.
Shalene. Yeah.
They have done some really great bug fixes and quality of life improvements that came with this update. So that's a wonderful thing. And I am really annoyed. The responders are back. I really like the responders as a faction, and they're back. And they just don't care that I went through all that trouble to become a responder. You know, one of the early quest lines is this extensive, bit of traveling and work and that you go to and you become a responder and you work your way up through the ranks of the responders. And the responders come back to Appalachia and they do not care that you did all these things and that you are a responder and that
Yeah.
you signed up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a big oversight. I feel like there should be special dialogue where they recognize that you've completed those quests. And maybe if you show up wearing one of your responders' outfits, they're like, "Oh, hey, you're already, part of the team. Yeah, here's 10 wood scrap. Just something to recognize that you're part of the same team." Um, I've been working for ages at learning mods by scrapping armor and weapons to complete my Excel spreadsheet checklist. And I finally finished with trapper armor. That's all of the armors. I have learned every mod that it's possible to learn by scrapping armor. The only thing that I have left to scrap is the what's it called? Is it the radium rifle? It's the last one for most people. It's really hard and it takes ages, and most people just craft like 1,000 of them and scrap them.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing that. I refuse to do it. Um, I think I mentioned on the last show that I didn't expect to use the new weapon very much, the auto axe. But I built my auto axe the last time that I played, and I am in love with this weapon, Bender. It's so fun. I don't know if you remember the auto axe from Fallout 3, but it's very, very similar. There was a
No.
specialized version called the Man Opener, which I thought was just hilarious. And it's got this round saw blade thing. And it's this massive thing that you hold with two hands and you spin it up and you just slice through your enemies. And I got a legendary version crafted, and I've redone my entire build to increase my damage with this thing, and it just chews through enemies. It does so much damage, and it's one of those things that gets in under my
Auto
skin.
axe.
and I cackle as I just auto
Oh,
axe
look at this thing.
everything. Yes, it's like I think it's based on a Jaws of Life. I
It's
bought a Jaws of Life for my fire department pretty recently, and it looks very similar. Um,
Jaws of
except
Life. Well, except there's no spinny wheel thing on the end, right? Jaws of Life was
yeah,
cutters, but
no, the Jaws of Life has a spinny wheel thing.
oh,
The one that
really?
I bought for my fire department does. So
Oh,
it's much smaller than the one on the auto axe, but um
that's great. I
yeah,
love
I
it.
love this weapon. I just and Archon tells me that I can add flames to it later on.
Oh
So
no.
I'm definitely gonna make that happen. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna have this flaming, whirling disc of
Oh
death,
god.
and I am going to destroy. Ah, I'm gonna do that after the show. It's gonna be brilliant.
Um Sounds like
That's
you've
it.
got your priorities figured
That's my
out.
gameplay. That's my gameplay. Got it. I love that auto axe. It's so good.
Well, that's the show, folks. We have enjoyed your company this evening and hope that you have enjoyed ours as well. Don't forget, the show's sponsored by Oak and Crow. If you head on over to Oak and Crow Coffee, oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend. $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. We love hearing your questions, your stories. If you want to send us a message and something we can talk about on the show, you can email us at info@wejustlovegames or drop us a line in the Mailstack channel in our Discord. You can join our Discord by scrolling right down below if you're listening live. Our link is on our Twitch page, twitch.tv/wejustlovegames, where we record live every Friday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget, we're also on social media, Twitter at We Just Love Games, Shalene at Shalene L, myself at VendortronN, and on Facebook, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, facebook.com/group/We Just Love Games. We're on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Please like, subscribe, and review the show. Thank you all for listening. Shalene, have you got a last word?
I met a strange lady. She made me nervous. She took me in and gave me breakfast.